And welcome. No? Okay. Alright. Welcome to the 10th episode of the Huntington Wiffle League podcast. I am your host, Josh Smith. With me is my co-host and producer,
Jeremy Litton.
Thanks for coming out, Jeremy. I'm tired. All of our games have been going on like 20 innings or so. How are you feeling?
Pretty good.
Pretty good?
Our games last week only went like 5 innings each, so it's awesome. Oh, they were against you, by the way.
Yeah, thanks. I'm glad I could provide a little cushion for you and some quick evening ball games. I would be offended, but you know what? It was nice to actually not be the last team to finish. I actually enjoyed that very much. I actually got to chill out. All the stuff was packed up in the van and everything, so it was kind of a nice, simple... We lost. I mean, it was horrible. Wasn't even close. We got no note in a perfect game, so that's not what you want to happen, but I'll take it. It didn't last forever. Not with us tonight is Greg Sowards. He's too busy trying to figure out how to send out his first tweet. He told me, Jeremy, I just don't know how to do it. I said, Greg, you've had a Twitter for 6 months now, and you're just using it to follow people. That's not what it's for. You gotta have something to say. And the night the big storm came, and we were all stuck at IHOP. First we went to Waffle House, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. And the power was out. That entire East Huntington was out of power.
I saw myself in my car mirror with a tear rolling down my cheek because there was no power.
It absolutely ruined our streak of going to Waffle House every Tuesday this season and last season, so I'm a little disappointed about that. So Mother Nature is a bitch. But we went to IHOP. Greg originally decided he wasn't going to come, but then he showed up. It took us a half an hour to get somewhere that normally takes about 10 minutes to get there. And he had the phone out, and I said, this would be a great time to send out your very first tweet, Greg. And you know what he did? He didn't fucking send it. He has yet to send his first tweet. So he's going to figure it out today.
So he's
I have faith.
Twitter virgin. Is that
Yeah.
it?
He hasn't popped his hashtag cherry yet.
Or he hasn't come out of his egg?
Mm-mm. He's still a tadpole.
Amazingly.
He still has the egg for his profile photo.
That's pretty sad.
The egg. That's awful. When we come back, we will recap the second half of the season, count down our top 10 favorite moments ever in the league, announce the 2014 NWA tournament team we will be sending to Columbus in July, and then an exclusive interview with Jeremy Ray of Sit on My Base when we come back.
Shed. And she was looking kind of dumb with her finger and her thumb in the shape of an L on her forehead. Well, the years start coming and they don't stop coming. Fed to the rules and I hit the ground running. Didn't make sense not to live for fun. Your brain gets smart but your head gets dumb. So much to do, so much to see. So what's wrong with taking the back streets? You'll never know if you don't go. You'll never shine if you don't go. Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game on, go play. Hey now, you're a rock star. Get the show on, get paid. And all that glitters is gold. Holy shooting stars break the mold. It's a cool place, and they say it gets colder. You're bundled up now, wait till you get older. But the media men beg to differ, judging by the hole in the satellite picture. The ice we skate is getting pretty thin. The water's getting warm, so you might as well swim. The world's on fire, how about yours? And that's the way I like it, and I'll never get bored. Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game on, go play. Hey now, you're a rock star. Get the show on, get paid. And all that glitters is gold. Holy shooting stars break the mold. Go for the moon. Go for the moon. Go for the moon. Come on, let me hear you. Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game on, go play. Hey now, you're a rock star. Get the show on, get paid. All that glitters is gold. Holy shooting stars. Somebody once asked, could I spare some change for gas? I need to get myself away from this place. I said, yeah, got a concept. Could use a little fuel myself, and we could all use a little cheer. Well, the years start coming and they don't stop coming. Bed to the rules and I hit the ground running. Get it makes sense, time to live for fun. The brain gets smart, but your head gets done. So much to do, so much to see. So what's wrong with taking the back streets? You'll never know if you don't go. Go, you'll never shine if you don't go. Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game on, go play. Hey now, you're a rock star. Get the show on, get paid. And all that glitters is gold. Only shooting stars break the mold. And all that glitters is gold. Only shooting stars break the mold.
Welcome back, everybody. This is our 10th episode, Jeremy. So in honor of it being our 10th episode...
I know it's the 10th episode.
So in honor of it being our 10th episode, we're going to stick with that theme for the next couple moments here. And I made a list of top 10 moments throughout the history of the league that I want to share with you. These are the top 10 milestones.
Do I need to fall asleep or do I want to be excited for this?
You want to have a raging erection for this. That's what you want.
I'm going to need Viagra.
That's what I want. Okay. Let's stop wasting time. We're going to get to it.
Oh, fine.
Number 10. The creation of the HWL itself.
It's like God said, let there be light.
That's basically, it was divine intervention. I mean, it's just as good of an explanation as any. We had the Garrett Driveway Football League in Hurricane, West Virginia. We did that for 10 years. We never had more than 4 teams at a time. You were there for the last season. Was it or was it not a complete disaster?
It was pretty much a waste of time.
It was a disaster. Teams weren't consistent. There was nothing.
Well, Tyler ran off to Kentucky without telling anyone. He's like, yeah, I'm going to Kentucky next week. Made it sound like a vacation. And he was my teammate. Well, he stayed in Kentucky. I'm like, what happened? So
you have to go big or go home when it comes to organizing a league. Those moments are precious when you get those first impressions. And we already were in our 10th year of not being a very legitimate league. So I don't know what I was expecting. So we hung it up. And then the next year, Greg had moved down to Huntington. And he showed me this ballpark with like 4 or 5 baseball fields on it and said, would this or would this not be ideal? This is way more accommodating than anything we ever had in Hurricane. And 2 months later, we started the season.
I think that's the only thing he's ever been right on. Ask Christy.
Oh. Number 9. When we switched to the yellow bat. We talked about it during offseason. We talked about it from the second the championship game wrapped up last year to the winter meeting. Everybody we brought onto the pod. I think partially the reason we started this podcast was so it could be an open forum.
Right.
To talk about the yellow bat, to be honest.
We even brought people from out of town talking about you, Carl. And 2 coffees, 1 cup. That episode. Was that episode number 4?
It was a Christmas episode.
Okay. So, episode, look it up. Hashtag 2 coffees, 1 cup. We even brought them in for guidance on should we go to Yellow Bat. And the answer was, Josh.
Hell fucking yeah. Yeah, we had to do it. We had pressure from the tournament committee. We had pressure from other leagues. Most players in the league, after they read up on it and really started thinking about it, it was the clear direction we needed to go. So I think we reached a level we could have never reached in the old league and a level that we had yet to reach in this new league by sometimes you just got to conform. You got to give the people what they want, and we've been better off for it. It's really changed the league, and the competition has been it's drastically different now.
I just want to state one thing, though. You said we were going to vote Yellow Bat or Black Bat. Mm-hmm. We did not vote. Democracy turned into a Josh-ocracy.
I strong-armed it, I'm not going to lie. But no, I said if there's no one that wants to argue against this, can we just go ahead and assume?
I wanted to argue. You all just laughed me off.
Well, it had popular support. So I didn't make it an edict. It had popular support. Number 8. the 2013 championship. Who did you come to the 2012 championship, Jeremy?
Yes, I was there.
It was. It came down to Beaver Fever and the Honey Badgers. Only 2 people came out to watch the game, myself and you. And the only reason I was there was to man the cameras and make sure everything went smoothly, and to interpret rules and to be a third party. It was boring as all shit, and the 2013 championship was much more entertaining.
Yeah.
We had 2 teams that actually deserved to be there that were very talented.
Hot dogs.
We had hot dogs. We had the canopy. We were going to record a podcast on site, but the noise levels just were not permitting that to happen. We had like 3 or 4 different camera angles at the event. So the first time ever in West Virginia, a championship game was actually done right. And I think that was a step in the right direction we needed to make. And I think that's partially camera-wise, and as far as like organizing events within the league, that was the first step in the right direction. So I think that's a milestone worth noting. Okay, number 7. Last year's National Wiffle League Association tournament. Sure, we got our asses kicked. It was awful. We were like 1-9, and the 1 was because of a forfeit because the other team was late. So really, we didn't win any games.
Hey, rules are rules.
Yep. Everybody, not everybody, like maybe like 10 people hate our guts, but I don't really care about them. Fuck them. It was a learning experience, and a very valuable experience. It's given me and Greg a lot more determination and drive as far as getting parity within the league. It was the main motivating factor in switching to the yellow bats. We started building a team not long after opening day. We kept our eyes open. We brought in Patrick Rail to help scope out who would be the best fit. We are bringing, I think, the best we have to offer this year because of what happened last year. It was a very scarring experience, but at the same time, we learned a lot. Definitely worth considering for a moment. Number 6. This year's All-Star Game.
It was a great game.
One of the main reasons this is a milestone for me is because you grilled me a bratwurst.
Josh likes my sausage, is what he's trying to say.
It's the first time I've had one since like 10 years ago when I got food poisoning from one. So, but I trust you and I ate it. It was very good. We had excellent camera angles, walk-up music, a lot of fun plays happening. It was kind of boring. There were a lot of walks. It was 2-0, I think. Well, I think it was 2-1 or something like that.
Yeah.
It's a very low-scoring game. There were a lot of walks, but there was also some hits, some good defensive plays. Very smooth game. So as far as weather, too, is concerned, it was the best weather we had all season. Fuck it, I don't care. I'm going to talk through this horn.
We're right next to her.
Yeah, but yeah, I think the All-Star game, we've never had an All-Star game really in the old league. We never had one in this league. And it's one of the things I always wanted every season and can never have it. So I finally have been able to have my cake and eat it too this year, just in that fact alone. So having the All-Star game it deserves to be higher, in my opinion, but we've had so many good things happen. Moving on, number 5. Fall ball from last fall. We brought in 7 teams, and we didn't know at the time that the only teams we'd have this year were going to be from that fall ball season. Every single franchise from 2013 dropped out, Jeremy. Let's count them down. Terrorhawks.
Welfare Warriors.
Beaver Fever.
Maroon Squad.
Holy Balls.
Pink Penguins.
All gone.
Vanished.
Yep. Maroon Squad said they'd come back, then vanished at the last second. That's kind of their thing. Holy Balls just had too much going on.
Wait, are you sure they didn't go to jail?
I don't know. They're gone. They might be in the big house now, but they definitely weren't on the field. They didn't show. All talk. No walk, son. Holy Balls were too busy. They're a lot of older guys anyway. They probably wouldn't be able to compete. They probably made the right decision. Pink Penguins, again, probably would not have been able to compete unless they rearranged their roster, but they just had too much going on. Some of them were getting married. A lot of them were having kids. Some of them were changing careers. They were some younger guys, and they were switching a lot of things around their life. Welfare Warriors was the bane of season last year. So
I do not know what you're talking about.
It's a good thing they weren't back. And then the Terrahawks and Beaver Fever consolidated to form the Green Bears. So there were no remnants hardly at all for the 2013 season.
Julie came back.
Yeah, we had 7 returning players You and myself and Greg included, Julie Meadows, Andrew Hankins, Brandon Woolham, Mike Saxton.
But you know who I missed the most of all the new players from last year? Daryl. You know why Daryl? He's a veteran.
Yeah.
That's why.
He's not a retired. Veteran, not veteran. But yeah, wiffle ballers. Wee Willie Wiffle. Breaking Balls. Bag Tag. Honey Badgers. All these teams came out of nowhere, and they came out of fall ball. If we had not had fall ball last year, I really, truly believe we wouldn't have much of a season, if a season at all, this year. Fall ball saved this league. And that's why it's at number 5, because it's very important. Number 4. This year's winter meeting. How many people were at the winter meeting for the first season?
At least, what, last year?
Our first winter meeting last year.
Oh, 3. You,
yourself,
myself,
and Kyle Hedger.
And Kyle. Yeah, I forgot about Kyle.
No, we met at Fat Patty's. And
Kyle had fries. I had my usual, was it Born on the Bayou burger, and I have no idea what you had other than beer, I think.
Yeah, I had a beer and I think a burger. But we discussed things, and Greg wasn't even able to make it. He was the co-commissioner. I mean, it was a farce the first year for the 2013 season. But we actually had time to plan that.
Right. We had a table for 7, though.
Yeah, we did.
We felt important.
Yeah. It was round. It was nice. Everyone felt equal, but I was like, y'all need to shake that immediately because I'm more important than everybody else. So.
I think you were very big in Walking Dead, and it was at that time where Rick's like, this is not a democracy.
That's right.
And you've stayed that way ever since.
But the 2014 winter meeting was legit. We met in Huntington, not in Taze Valley. We had probably about 25 people show up. We spun a wheel. We seated each division.
A wheel.
It was a virtual wheel. It was on my Kindle file.
Yeah, Kindle.
Yeah. So we went ahead and we spun a wheel. That fate alone decided which teams got into which divisions. We debated rules. We broke bread. Found out team names. Rosters were announced. It was a very productive meeting. And I think it was a good way for us to just check the atmosphere for as far as commitment, as far as captains and other players.
That's the same time we found out Maroon Squad wasn't going to be in, and
Penguins were dropping out, and Holy Balls were dropping out. We were looking at possibly having 10, 12 teams this year, but at the 11th hour, people started showing, listen, I just don't have it together, or yes, we're going to have it together, and we just had teams like Sit on My Base that just materialized out of thin air. And then we had the Fat Bastards that were ready to come in if needed, and then did not need to come in. So, it was a success, and I think if we didn't have that meeting, it would have been a very sloppy preseason, and it would have been a lot like last year. Last year was very, it was better than the first year, but it was very inefficient as far as communication, organization, team parity, talent, commitment. There was definitely areas to improve upon from 2013. I think we did so far this year. Number 3. Mike McCoy drawing first blood on Drew McClanahan. He had a solo shot in the Green Bears series with the breaking balls in the second half of the season. Hell broke loose.
Right. And to note, McClanahan's like our first probably truly legit pitcher.
Hashtag God's gift to wiffle ball.
Yes.
He's been touched. He had like a Earl Hershiser scoreless streak. He pitched 11 games without giving up a single run all season. Even so, he's only given up about 5 runs all year. Nothing even comes close. He has a 0.29 ERA, Jeremy. Nobody comes close. But all hell broke loose at the field.
I know. Everyone just sort of stopped as Josh is running around half naked. And he hugged Paul Hessen.
No, Paul wanted a hug, I think.
Paul wanted the hug?
No, I hugged Jacob Fisher. It was
that's
his first day with the league, too. He's like, I see how we do things here.
Okay.
Yeah, I wept. I laughed. I felt a lot of things, Jeremy.
Actually, the league was just staring at you like, what a fucking moron. What just happened?
A lot of people were confused and thought I hit the home run.
That's what I thought.
And the best part about it is Mike McCoy, at Big Mike McCoy on Twitter, he was just cool as shit about it. Like, he didn't say anything. He just trotted the bases like he always does. Came back. He didn't say, stop that shit, bitches, or we're drowning here. Drew later turned it on, and that became the first Mercy Rule game of the year. 21-1 loss. To date, this year it's the worst defeat so far.
But it had a moral victory within it.
Yeah, we drew first blood on the Titan. David versus Goliath. It happened.
It's more like David sort of like poked Goliath's eye and said, "Take that."
I think this milestone's much more than this particular event. We went to Yellow Bats. This is now the age of the pitcher. I talked about this on the website in the preseason with that article, Game of Arms. Pitchers that have been pretty good can finally be great because they actually have the incentive to actually throw closer to the zone because it's a little bit harder to hit the ball with a much thinner bat. And then you have people that are actually legitimate athletes, people that came from fall ball, people like Drew McClanahan that came out of the woodwork in the preseason that are actually good pitchers. Even I think he would have pitched half of his no-hitters at perfect games, even if we used the black bat. I really believe that. But someone found a bite and shows that even these pitchers that can throw really hard, really fast with a lot of junk, and then you have the daunting task of not only hitting that, but hitting that with a skinnier bat than we're used to, finally that's shaken. So that, I think, is the answer to the naysayers from the yellow bat era that we're currently in. Number 2. The 2014 NWA tournament. You can say, Josh, that hasn't happened yet. How come that's a milestone? There's no fucking way it could go any worse than it did last year, Jeremy. Were you even there?
No, I took the day off.
Yeah. But I'm sure in hushed tones, you've heard just how fucking horrible the experience was.
Hushed tones? Y'all are like butthurt about it.
Yeah, we're still butthurt about it. We did horribly. We were embarrassed. We thought we did a lot better in 2013 than we did in 2012, and that's true. We still cannot compare to other leagues. We just were not in the same level as them.
Not to blame any particular one or even a team, but the people that you picked just didn't show.
Yeah.
So
I'm convinced that even if the 2 people that dropped out actually did show up, we would have done just as bad. It would have been awful. It was humiliating to an extent. There's nothing wrong with not doing well, but not winning a single game and not win. I mean, we got mercy ruled like 3 or 4 separate times. And then the stigma that came with actually following the rules and taking the forfeit that was owed to us. That just pretty much was a nail in the coffin to the good time. As far as the event goes, it was run very well, and pretty much everybody else had a very good time. We had a good time, too, until close to the end there. But this year I'm looking very much forward to it because we
accepted a forfeit.
Hey, we might as well have strike 4, ball 6, fuck it. You can have 20 players on the team. Yeah, let's just go ahead. Let's just wipe our ass with the rule book. Let's just wipe our ass with the Constitution, too. Guantanamo's totally fine.
It is fine.
Yeah, let's just go ahead and just say, fuck it. Just fuck it. Everything's fine. There's no rules. There's no rules. There's no rules. We don't have to wear clothes. Just fuck it. The rules are there for a reason. I've said that a million times. I'll say it to my dying day. I defend the fact I didn't approve then necessarily. I didn't make the decision for us to take the forfeit. That's what it was all about. We took that forfeit. And then the shit hit the fan with some of the teams. But there's no way the experience this year could be worse than last year. We'll do better. So, knowing that alone, the foreshadowing that comes with that, it's number 2. I'd say maybe even debatably number 1. Finally, drum roll please for number 1.
And number 1.
Anytime Josh Burletich kicked a bucket. Jeremy, you had a lot to say about this one.
Well, actually, Josh, I had a whole top 10 for Josh Burletich, as you know, but we can't be so mean. So,
it's called the high road, Jeremy. Learn to take it.
I take the low road because you can go faster. It's all about speed and how fast you can go. Anyway, So anytime Josh kicks the bucket, there's always a joke. He kicked the bucket. The league stood still that day. That first time he kicked the bucket, everyone looked. It was like the dinosaurs stared at that asteroid as it came through the atmosphere. That's how monumental. We went through that video, all right, the last 2 podcasts ago, reviewed the video like 5 or 6 times, laughing our asses off.
The kick was good. What can I say? It almost cleared the fence. We've seen him kick the bucket, at least a dozen times over the years. It was a phenomenon. I don't think he started in the old league. It progressed in this new league that we're in. And, then it just became expected. The problem was we didn't expect everyone to be so awe-stricken because for that moment we forgot, hey, these people weren't fucking here last year or the year before. They don't know that this is his thing. This is what he does. And then there were people who were like, man, that's fucked up. And I was like, oh, that's just his thing. Like,
yeah, he does that.
Like, James Brown goes, hi! He kicks the bucket. That's like his thing. That's his trademark. So anytime he kicked the bucket, that was always entertaining for us. I want to believe there were times he did it just for that purpose. Just
for the attention.
Yeah, just for the entertainment value of it. Every league's got to have a villain. Yes. The NBA has LeBron James. The NFL last year had...
I'm more of an anti-Shaq fan myself.
The NFL had...
Ocho Cinco, then Sherman last year. Yeah.
And the MLB...
I just wish the NFL would get off RG3.
Yeah, it's just like every league has a villain. They got that guy that pushes. And, ours was Berletich. So I think just for entertainment alone, towards the top of this list, it just became just entertaining things that happened recently. That one definitely deserves to be the top. So those are the top 10 moments in HWL throughout time in the past 3 years. Those are my top 10 moments. When we come back, we will recap the second half of the regular season, announce the roster for the 2014 National Wiffle League Association tournament that will be representing the Huntington Wiffle League, and an interview with Jeremy Ray of Sit on My Base when we come back.
Now, here's a song I always get requests for, but I can't understand for the life of me why. It's simply the names of the chemical elements set to a Gilbert and Sullivan tune. I think the only reason I do it is to see if I still can. We'll try. There's antimony, arsenic, aluminum, selenium, and hydrogen, and oxygen, and nitrogen, and rhenium, and nickel, neodymium, neptunium, germanium, and iron, americium, ruthenium, uranium, europium, zirconium, lutetium, vanadium, and lanthanum, and osmium, and astatine, and radium, and gold, actinium, and indium, and gallium, and iodine, and thorium, and thulium, and thallium. There's yttrium, ytterbium, actinium, rubidium, and boron, gadolinium, niobium, iridium, and strontium, and silicon, and silver, and samarium, and bismuth, bromine, lithium, beryllium, and barium. I left out one, actually. A new one was discovered since the song was written. It's called Lawrencium. So those of you who are taking notes can write it down in your programs. There's holmium and helium and hafnium and erbium and phosphorus and francium and fluorine and terbium, manganese and mercury and molybdenum and magnesium and dysprosium and scandium and cerium and cesium and lead, praseodymium and platinum, plutonium, palladium, promethium, potassium, polonium, tantalum, magnesium, titanium, tellurium, and cadmium and calcium and chromium and curium. There's gold and californium and fermium, berkelium, and also mendelevium, einsteinium, nobelium, and argon, kryptonium, radon, xenon, zinc, and rhodium, and chlorine, carbon, cobalt, copper, tungsten, tin, and sodium. These are the only ones of which the news has come to Harvard. And there may be many others, but they haven't been discovered.
Season is almost over, Jeremy. Are you glad it's almost over?
Yes.
It's bittersweet for me. I'm exhausted. I'm in the middle of changing jobs. I'm training for something. I'm busy all the time. I haven't had the time that I had last year to dedicate to the website and all the constant stories and all that. In fact, I'm playing catch up with all the Team Tuesdays articles. We're going to have 3 Team Tuesday articles this coming Tuesday. It's going to be a triple play Team Tuesday.
Yes.
To give the rest of the teams, it'll be Sit on My Base, Poker Night, and Team Bag Tag. So get ready. There's going to be a lot of reading material. Hope you have your cell phone with you when you go to take a dookie, because your legs might go numb. There's going to be that much to read.
I can't use my cell phone on the dookie.
Well, I do.
That's disgusting.
I think that's normal. I don't use it for toilet paper. It's just in my hand. Who cares? I can do whatever I want with my phone. It's my bathroom. I can do whatever I want.
It's afterward. The
I don't
germs
fucking
that are transferred from your ass being down to your phone.
I don't touch my ass with the same hand. What's wrong with you? Anyway, someone's got shit to do, Jeremy. Like, host this. I host this shit. Okay, so.
I think you've had too many of those.
So the season's almost over. Week 10's coming up. Fuck it. Between the power rankings and we play all these teams, I say, fuck it. Hang on. Let's get the crystal ball out. I finally got back from the shop. Let's just fucking go ahead and say what's going to happen in week 10. So I'm just going to go ahead and just do this bitch. This is the second half of the season recap. It's already happened.
Are we fully cutting out Greg from his own power rankings?
Yeah, that's what's happening.
Okay. Let's do it.
I know enough. This crystal ball has been blessed by Greg Sowers. He pissed on it. That's partially why I had to go get it dry cleaned. There was no shop. It was a dry clean. He pissed all over it. So his mojo has gotten...
Mostly due to vodka and...
And there's some people that would argue that his predicting skills are a little... anyway, because of his power rankings have been off with certain teams.
Oh, it's probably due to those fake pecs that he's got.
So let's do this. Lightning round. We'll do this as quickly as possible. Team by team. Honey Badgers. They're going to be playing the Wiffle Ballers. They're currently 10-8. They're the only other team besides Sit on My Base and Breaking Balls that have a record above 500. They've been the strong third-place team we've been waiting for all season. Josh Burletich and Ariel Horde are out. Josh Burletich was suspended for a week, and then he is gone. He was going to be gone anyway for the second half of the season to teach summer classes. So they are gone. Stepping in, Jacob Fisher, and he's been a wonderful addition to the team. He rivals Drew McClanahan and Nick Capra as far as speed and skill for pitching. So he's been a real game changer. Plus the return of Kyle Kelly. He just dropped off of the radar entirely after fall ball last year. He came in and was just dropping bombs over the fence over and over again. He, in fact, was supposed to be starting a team with Paul Hessen. They were going to be parting ways with the Honey Badgers. And it didn't happen largely because Kyle Kelly just was into the wind. No one knew what happened to him. Breaking Balls. 18-0.
So wait, who's going to win between...
I think the Honey Badgers have what it takes to sweep. I really want there to be more than two teams above 500. If Wiffle Ballers are going to split this series, they need to just put on their pants and sweep it so they can be 2 games over 500. Don't split this shit. They've split too many series. They've been 7-7, 8-8, 9-9, which is what they are currently. Stop with the 500 nonsense. If you're not going to sweep this, then just lie down and let a team be 4 games over 500.
So, your final prediction, Josh.
I think the Honey Badgers have more than what it takes to sweep the Wiffle Ballers.
And you heard that here.
This upcoming week. They have the 1-2 punch. You have Jacob Fisher and Paul Hessen. I don't even need to say anything else. Steven Atkins is one hell of a pitcher, but he just does not have the hitting to back it up. He doesn't have it. David Dillon's starting to hit the ball now. Zach Reedy is becoming more active and not walking. Everybody else in that team can hit the ball. I don't think it's even a question. Sweep for the Honey Badgers. Breaking Balls are 18-0. Do you know who they're playing this last week?
No, I don't.
Poker night. Full disclosure. All the chips on the table. This is going to be a flush, Jeremy. Pardon my pun. Poker night is going to be going home with no chips next week.
I have
get
poker night.
The Awards Watch article came out today. Drew McClanahan is in the running for almost every category. He wants glory. That's why I think he plays as hard as he does. He wants greatness. He wants to be the league's first real superstar. He's going to show no mercy.
Poker night, my advice to you is to, if you want to win this, accidentally run to the pitcher's mound as first.
Yes.
And take out a leg. Anyway.
My personal recommendation, one losing team to another, don't drag it out. Don't go to extra innings. It's not worth it. And I don't think it's going to come down to it anyway. You got Matt Gordon. You got Drew McClanahan. You got Rob Stewart. You got Ryan Pritt. And then you've got...
Where's that Rod Stewart name? Anyway.
Rob Stewart. those 4 guys are in the top 10 as far as batting averages go. Matt Gordon is leading the league with RBIs and home runs. Then you got people like Nick Scala, who rarely show up, but they actually have pretty good batting average. And then Jeff Ryder, he has 28 walks this season, leading candidate for most patient hitter. His on base percentage is out of sight. There's no doubt Drew McClanahan, Matt Gordon, Rob Stewart, or Ryan Pritt, at least one of those guys is going to hit a home run. Chances are Jeff Ryder is going to be on one of those bases. So I think it's not going to be a contest. We're looking at a 20-0 team. We're looking at a team. This will be the first team to go 20-0 since Freaky Franchise a couple of years ago. And they've been number 2 for how many weeks now?
2 weeks.
Okay, so why aren't they number 1? There's no reason why they're not number 1. There's a 14-0 team from Hessfield Wiffle Ball. And that is a great league, very highly competitive league. They've been around forever. They have phenomenal pitching, parity. It's an excellent league. It's what I strive for. But we're looking at, let's just go ahead and say it, there's going to be a 20-0 team. And our season wraps up much earlier than a lot of other leagues. I will not accept a 20-0 team being not number 1 at some point. It's insane. If they're not number 1, fine. But you know what's going to happen. There's going to be some mediocre team from like Kalamazoo or Home Run League that's going to be like 16-6, and they're going to be ranked higher than our 20-0 number 1 seed, which is bullshit. Because I guarantee you, Breaking Balls actually have what it takes to take out some of these teams that are being ranked.
May I remind you, Josh, hashtag dead last. Let's move on.
Yeah. Well, we're not that league anymore than we were last year. Okay, but Breaking Balls, I think they deserve to be number 1. So come on, John, if you're listening, rank my guys number 1 at least 1 week. We haven't had a number 1 team since Maroon Squad, and that was a mistake. They were not the real deal. I assure you, Breaking Balls are the real deal this year.
They all went to college baseball.
Yeah, they are semi-professional. Sit on my base. That is the league's number 2 team. They're 14-4. They had roster troubles.
Who do they play?
They play Wee Willie Wiffle. Okay, so Sit on my base has really solidified. They were really dominant in the first half of the season. Then people started exposing an Achilles heel. They started hitting the ball off of Jeremy Ray. He went back to the drawing board at some point, apparently, because he's the team's primary pitcher. And he came up with this nasty screwball. Nobody else in the league throws anything like it. And having just played him a couple weeks ago, he's unhittable for most hitters in the league, I would think. They're 14-4 now. I think they'll at least have a split. We're looking at worst 15-6 to finish. They're ranked 37th right now. They've been all over the place. They've been from 17th all the way to 43rd place in the rankings. I think.
Here's my prediction for that game, Josh. Each game's going to be at least 7 innings. At least.
Most likely. Nick Capper is going to give it all he's got. And a matchup between him and Jeremy Ray, it's going to be something to watch. I don't even remember what happened the last time. I think you guys got swept because you struggled more with hitting than when you do now.
Right.
But semi-base are a real deal. They've had roster troubles. I wasn't
there for that game.
Since the time that you played them last, they've had Scott Westcott, who pitched in high school. He faced us in our second game, and he's very good. And then Brad Washburn. Although the guy drinks like a fish at the field, he catches everything, and he's clutch at the plate. He's a fantastic player. So I really think they have what it takes to sweep in that series. I'm going to go with a split just to be fair, because Capra is almost impossible to hit off of. So I say, at worst, Selma Base is looking at a 15-5 record. And I'll be disappointed if they're not in the top 30 in the rankings by the end of this. Their opponents, wiffle ballers, they just can't seem to break through. There's this wall there of having an even record, and every time they make a little progress, they get knocked down a few pegs by a more dominant team. And playing, not playing Selma Base, they're playing the Honey Badgers. I just don't see it happening. I think they're going to finish 2 games under 500. I really do. We're looking at a...
So you're saying the Honey Badgers are going to win that game?
Yeah, we're looking at an 8-12 team. Or a 10-12 team. No. An 8-12 team, okay?
I had it right the first time.
Yeah, we're looking at an 8-12 team. We built that part out. And that's not horrible. I mean, I said it in their past Team Tuesday. The fact that they're even competing and winning some games, they don't have a horrible losing streak like my team, it's commendable. But they don't have a full roster. They've got a few players that they struggled a lot, and they finally been coming around, but it's too little too late now. And then Stephanie Sadler, who is finally starting to get on fire with her bat, she had an ankle injury and has been out for the past couple weeks. She tried to play last week, but just couldn't overcome. She'll be back next week. But they just haven't been operating on all cylinders for most of the season, and it's shown. They're not the dominant team they were during the fall. Wee Willie Wiffle. They're 500 right now and on a 4-game winning streak. So I think there's potential for them to sweep sit on my base, but I think it's unlikely. They'll be lucky to finish at 500. That's the highest they're going to finish. I think they're looking towards the playoffs right now. Patrick Rail, he's been gone for a week or so now. He got married. Jason Grady, he's got 20 walks now. He's been a walking machine. Richard Ball, he hit 5 home runs last week. Jacob Dunkel took over the batting average lead. He has a 512 average now. So, I mean, there's a lot of moving parts that are coming together for the team. And either team could sweep in this series, and I really wouldn't be surprised. I really think the record doesn't really mean anything for Wee Willie Wiffle. I still think they have what it takes to make it to the championship. I really do. My ideal Jewel City team for the championship representing that division is Wee Willie Wiffle. So on base, they just got a lot of lucky breaks. This last week, they got 2 free wins because of a forfeit, because Bag Tag couldn't get enough players to the field last week. So, I don't know. They have the best pitching in the division as far as 1-2 punch. So we're looking at, I'm calling at best a split in the series, and Wee Willie Wiffle, if they're lucky, are going to finish at a 500 record. Bag Tag.
Versus
Bag Tag plays the Green Bears next week.
If they don't forfeit.
Yeah. Well, Brandon on Twitter assured me it wouldn't happen again. He was out of town, and Brian was with him.
Our first forfeit of the entire season.
Hopefully only forfeit. Last year we had a few sets of those, and we don't want any more of those. They're 6-12 this year. It's a very off season for them. They dominate in every sport they've done. They played dodgeball together once, dominated. They are like 5-time reigning champs of the Jewel City Kickball League. They go to Waka tournaments and do well. And last year, Brandon put his Bag Tag team together in the league for fall ball. They were fall ball champions. So we all did. When we did our power rankings, we expected Bag Tag to be somewhere in the upper levels. And they are the 6th place team in the entire league.
I think they started out well.
Those 2 losses really haven't done them any favors. I really think their problem is very simple, and it's something they can correct if they choose to return next year. And I really hope they do, because they represent a lot of what it means to be a team in this league. They keep trying, and they go through struggles. Paul Martin, no one wants to talk about it. Is no longer with us. He was the heart and soul of Bag Tag last year, and his absence has shown. And as far as talent level, Brandon did a very good job recruiting. I'm sure Zach and Brian had a role in that. Zach, he's the most successful pitcher on the team. He was one of the best hitters in fall ball. Brian Ball, he's one of the best base runners and fielders in the league. Brandon's been shaking off the rust off his shoulder from a softball injury, and he's actually had some mild success. Kara Dills remains to be one of the best female wiffle ball players I've ever seen in my life. Gary Ball, I think he's in close to 50. He's one of the oldest players in the league. He's not half bad. And then Ryan Pritt, Zach's brother. He's a very good pitcher. They had the right stuff to have a successful season, but they've not been able to get everyone at the field. That is a problem. They are not fielding a full team hardly ever. And depending on whether or not they can do that next week, I still don't think they can pull off a sweep, because the last time we played them, we split the series. I'm really hoping, just for my team's sake, we're 3-15. Jeremy, 3-15. This is the worst performing wiffle ball team I have ever been on. Ever.
Hey, I'll take that.
We're on a 11-game losing streak. Other than Welfare Warriors, no other team in the league has had an equally long or longer losing streak in this league's history. We're the absolute worst team in the league, arguably, and we've never swept a series. We've split 3 different series, and that's it.
I think you guys would do better if you weren't officiating 4 fields at the same time.
True. Anytime some sort of topic comes up, Greg and I are on the same team. We're putting out fires constantly all the time. But Poker Night are going to get swept. They're playing the breaking balls. It's going to happen. We have a chance to actually split this or possibly sweep, depending on our luck, Bag Tag.
I think there's
if we're wanting to put any separation between us and the very last team, having a tie for last place is kind of lame because you never really know who's really the last place team. I want to win one of these games just so there is a clear next to last and last place team. Parker Knight's taking it in stride. they have improved some. I think performance-wise, they're better than the Green Bears at this point. So if the Green Bears do manage to pull off a win next week, it'll only be in record, only numbers, and it doesn't really mean a thing. Todd Scott's really come a long way with his pitching. They're hitting the ball. They played 20 innings of ball last week, Jeremy. They had 2 10-inning games against the wiffle ballers, and they won one of them. So they're actually able to compete now, and they have less people than they did all season. So they're actually competing. So that is the basic recap of the second half of the season as it has happened and as it is going to happen, plus power rankings. I do it all, Jeremy. Fuck it. I do it all. When we come back, we will announce, finally, without further ado, the team that will be representing the Huntington Wiffle League for the National Wiffle League Association Tournament in Columbus this July. For some of our listeners, some of you may not be going to our website, which is www.huntingtonwiffleball.com. I think a week or two ago, we finally announced the roster that will be representing the Huntington Wiffle League in Columbus this year. But just in case you haven't seen it, and you're a loyal listener who just refuses to go to the website for some reason, here is the roster. Paul Hessen, he is the team's captain. He'll be a relieving pitcher, an outfielder, and extra hitter. Zach Blatt, originally an alternate, but given events that happened a few weeks ago, he is on the team and he's been elected as co-captain. Then we have Drew McClanahan, the player everyone in the tournament wants to see. Nick Capra, Stephen Atkins, Jeremy Ray, Brian Ball, and Andrew Westcott. Only alternate we have is Jacob Fisher, and he'll be the captain of the London Wiffle Ball tournament team should nothing happen. It was very difficult to assemble this list. The All-Star game was a major component of the final cut of people. We have 3 starting pitchers. We got everyone on the team has pitched at some point during the season, and I think they can hit the zone. That was an area we struggled at last year. So anything that went wrong last year, we took notes and we said it's going to be different this year when we built this team.
Well, in all fairness, you and Greg, compared to some of the pitchers that are pitching, as far as hitting the strike zone, it's like Kim Jong trying to hit America. Hey, you don't know how to fire a wiffle ball to the plate.
I think there's nobody that's pitching regularly in the league this year that sucks. You have to be good. I'm pitching better than I've ever pitched in my life this year. So is Greg.
Let me just say I got hits off of you, Josh.
It's finding the zone. But as coaching staff, I'll be the manager. Greg's the assistant manager. And Patrick Rail will be a first base coach. And then you, Jeremy Litton, will be a third base coach.
I'm going to be a cheerleader.
So
I'm going to wear my skirt.
And then we're building a team for the London football tournament taking place in about 30 minutes outside of Columbus that Saturday. So far, I'll be playing in it, Jacob Fisher, and then there's some other possibilities. Maybe Todd Scott, Scott Hatfield, Kevin Chatton, and a couple other people. So we're definitely forming a team for the London Wiffle tournament as well, finally for the first time. So we're doing everything we wanted to do last year and more. But that is the team we have that will be representing us this year. Let's double the players, quadruple the talent. What could go wrong?
No one show up.
They're going to show up. I'm going to fucking kill anyone who doesn't go.
You heard that. Show up or else.
Up next, we'll be interviewing our special guest for this episode, Jeremy Ray of Sit on My Base.
Do you want to listen to more HWL Podcasts? Hell yeah! Then go to huntingtonwiffleball.com and click on Podcasts. Woo!
Special guest this episode on the podcast, Jeremy Ray and Andrew Westcott of Sit on My Base. Thanks for coming, guys.
Not a problem.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So, I want to start at the beginning. The very first question I have for you stems back to the winter meeting. You guys were very quiet. I don't remember who. Were you there?
I was there.
You and Kevin only,
I
right?
was there
You
also.
were there also. You guys were quiet and didn't say much. And then, like halfway through debating something, you guys, I got the name. Sit on my base. Who was it that said that?
Well, I started it. I picked it up, and Kevin went with it. So that's just something we're a bunch of ball-headed, funny guys. So that's what we went with.
It was between Somali Pirates and Sit on My Base, and I don't know, just something about Sit on My Base actually rings out to us.
Nice. Okay. Did you think you'd do this well?
No.
We didn't really know what to expect because it's wiffle ball. We've never played except for when we were like 5. So it's we came out and kind of kicked ass and had fun.
What did you guys do today? You sweep?
No, we split today.
Split, so you're
Yeah.
17 and
We are
15
and 5.
15 and 5. Oh,
Yeah.
that's not bad. Okay. So, what are your hopes going into the playoffs?
Not to
Just,
suck.
Just continue what we're doing and giving breaking balls their first loss.
Oh, all right. So you guys had a full roster initially that paid and everything. Jeremy Fleeman and somebody else. What happened to those two people?
Couldn't take the heat.
They just didn't show up at all. I never
Didn't show
saw
up.
them.
Fleeman was actually here during the, it was like preseason
Spring
thing.
training. Yeah.
And he seemed like he was into it. But never even heard from that Patton guy.
Brent. That was
Yes.
his name, Brent Patton.
Right.
Okay. Both of you were selected for the NWA tournament, so congratulations. What have you been doing to prepare?
Just practicing.
Practicing.
Yeah, we're getting out here practicing.
Thrown at a wall.
All right. What are your hopes once we get to Columbus? We get there July 19th, and we're there through the weekend. So, what are your goals personally?
Just win, kicking ass and win all weekend long.
Keep my average up over 3. Stay on base.
We're just gonna have some fun and win.
Not gonna have anything. You guys have anything you want
I don't have anything
to?
else.
Like when I did it in my apartment, I have like a set of questions and
Yeah.
everything. It's a lot more
Yeah.
organized. Yeah. But we did it like in my spare bedroom. He's been over for. I did that.
So, I mean, do you have any other questions for us? We'll answer
No,
anything.
I don't.
I have a question. Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Come on in.
How bad do you all think that you'll beat the team you play in the first round?
Oh man.
You got Green Bears.
We're just out there to have fun.
Well, it
have
took us
all-
forever
all
to.
You're reverting the question. Are you running for office?
We have fun to. That's how we get our wins. We have fun every week. So.
Anytime that you pitch, we can't hit you. We always have to go to extra innings whenever you pitch.
I'm not pitching against you. Greg's like, we're going to save you for the playoffs. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm not pitching another 9, 10, 11 innings.
Yeah, you're gonna throw your arm out.
No. I think I already did. I couldn't hardly throw shit against them. So
We just want to see one.
Yeah, we let Scotty throw today.
yeah. How'd he do?
Congratulations to the league.
All right, thanks for stopping by.
Ooh, right on the ass.
I think you might got like
Right on
one
the
nut
ass.
on that one.
That was a little wet. Appreciate
Andrew Westcott, Jeremy Ray of Sit on My Base, thanks for stopping by.
Not a problem.
Special thanks to our guest, Jeremy Ray of Sit on My Base. Ray is currently in the running for Rookie of the Year and Cy Wiffle, and best of luck to him as the season wraps up and these awards are determined. Next month, we'll be recapping the playoffs and the championship and looking forward to the NWA tournament. But next month's guest will be Poker Night, possibly Sky Hatfield and Todd Scott, most likely. That is all that we have to discuss on this month's episode of the Huntington Wiffle League podcast. Signing off, I'm your host, Josh Smith, and my co-host and producer,
Jeremy Litton.
We'll talk to you soon.
So, Josh, where can I go listen to more godlike musings of your voice online?
Jeremy, you go to www.huntingtonwiffleball.com and you can listen to all of our previous podcasts and more. You can see all the links to all of our videos, score sheets, statistics, standings,